Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we have the plan of doing 2 clan war league attacks straight on in the beginning of the war and hopefully 6-pack. Like, that's the goal of this video. So I will show you guys not only the attacks, but we'll jump into the base and I will explain it more in detail what is exactly the things I'm looking out for when taking the first look at a base, and what are the the strategies I come up with when taking a look at the base, and like what are the first things, etc. So we will take a look at this war. It's already 40 minutes in, so I'm not too quick to be honest, but we still try to make a fast 6-pack. That's like the goal. And the first base is going to be this. On bases overall, I try to have the first look at the expos, the setup of the expos, not their placement, but more like what is the setup? It's ground, it's air, what is the setup overall? And on this base, we can see it's 4 ground expos, which normally tends already to scream basically, do something with air. Suilalo, E-Drags, normal drags, something like that is like the main thing to go. Obviously, if you can't see any entries like this, then you need to switch to maybe a ground army, but obviously you want to abuse the weakness of the base, which normally starts with the setup of the expos. The next thing which I'm looking out for is the clan castle range. The clan castle range is kind of important because you always, especially on those dragon attacks, have your heroes flanking. Like, that's kind of important. You need to funnel with your heroes and make sure that, well, the dragons are staying inside. They're kind of like miners in that part. So we have 3 options around the town hall because you normally want to get into the town hall and not have the town on the back end. The first option was on the left, then on the right side, and on the one more left bottom side. And on the top right side seems to be the best part because we won't do the clan castle out and we can enter with the dragons kind of easily into the town hall. Now we need something third, like somehow a pathing creator for our dragons. And there's kind of obvious the Electro. That's kind of nice entry for any Electro Dragon or Dragon attack. On this one, we want to have the Electron on the Inferno Tower. What this does, first off, it takes out the Inferno Tower and creates nice pathing into the Town Hall. We dodge the sweepers perfectly overall. And, well, then we have tons of ground expos on the back end. We don't care about them. So that's kind of the goal, which is important. We need to take out the mortar, and then we can target directly the Archer Tower, because nowadays it's kind of common to do those blimps, like not only Electron, but Yeti Blimp as well. And those entries next to the town hall is always kind of juicy. So we have to use test loons. So next thing is kind of to take out the left part as well with the baby dragon, and that's it. That's the plan. Clan castle, like I said, super important building, and then we have the royal champion for the bottom of the base to take out the last air defense. The air defense on the right side, I think we'll just overpower that because most of the dragons will stick to the expos. Everything, like the heroes are funneling everything, keeping everything inside, and I don't think that the expos, I don't think that the heroes will stay alive too long because, well, they have so many ground expos on them. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I think we have to power through the last air defense, or maybe if the attack is going different than expected, we can save the royal champion for that air defense. We do not have to drop the royal champion too early, and that's already the plan. That's already the first plan. Like I said, we started off with the expos, with the setup, then took a look at the clan castle location to make sure that we're not losing that, especially if it's like ground base, which means like ice golems or a hound, or like anti-ground. So yeah, this is going to be the army. We should attack really soon and get started with the first, hopefully triple, to make sure that we're getting the 6-pack done. So like I said, if you guys would have not found any dragon plans, then you obviously would have had to like get through the next list, basically get through the next strategy. But we will take that at the next base as well and take a look at that, because this won't be a ground expo base, so we can have a different look at that. And I will once again walk you guys through the thought process and what to look out for first and everything else kind of. So that's going to be the army. Like I said, I'm using skeletons, using a poison spell because we're doing the Electron into the clan castle, which means if this guy is like a troll CC with like 30 archers and the Electron is running into that without a poison, that's bad news. Like, that's not working at all. So this is why we need that poison with us. If you have the dragons encountering the clan castle first, then you can just skip the poison. But if the Electron is going to the clan castle, that's kind of bad. So we're starting off with the one loon. Since this mortar is not max, we can take that out with one loon, like the death damage and the one drop. Now 2 loons over there, and then just the blimp in behind to make sure that we're getting the electron as deep as possible. So far everything's looking good. There was a black mine, but it was like too late. The dragons made it, or like the electro dragon made it into the town hall, into the Inferno Tower. Now I have the right word, and we're using the poison to make sure that my electro dragon is getting the value he needs to get. Already started with the baby dragon on the left side, and now we need to have our dragons and our heroes funneling each other into the right direction, because if my queen is going to the left, then she's doing out the clan cards as well, which we do not want, because so far we're expecting something like 3 icy golems and stuff like that, so we do not want to have that come out. And now let's get started with the dragons. Rage onto the town hall. Everything is looking totally fine. Warren ability perfect. It's even blocking the damage on my queen, which is super OP. And now they're getting into the danger zone, into the enemy queen. Heal spell is placed to make sure that my dragons are staying healthy. I'm freezing the enemy queen. Like I said, I'm super afraid of enemy queen when I'm using mines or something like that. But this rage was super bad, so we need to somehow make sure that my dragons are still making it through the back end. I think the rage would have been way better over there now, but let's see if we can still save this. This is not looking too good, to be honest, but let's see. Maybe we can make it. Hopefully we not already failed with the first attack. The Royal Gem is still going strong. The dragons are helping her perfectly, making sure that she is staying alive, saves her Royal Gem ability. We have to use that now. The bounce is going not to the air defense, but to the multi-inferno tower, which is totally fine as well, because this means less damage on our queen. And we have still 2 dragons left, which isn't a lot, but let's see. I think as long as we take out the air defense, it's totally fine. Using 1 minion to try to tank for the Royal Champ, but it's not really necessary, and this means this is going to be our first 3-star. Even though it was close, we completely messed up the second rage. I think with the second rage a little bit deeper into the side, we could have easily got this. But I mean, 3 stars are 3 star, right? Like, this is totally fine. So what we should do next is let's take a look at the next base, and I will walk you guys once again through everything which I thought about, like the thought process and everything. So let's take a look at the next base, which is going to be a completely different setup. And obviously I'm starting off once again with the Expo setup, and then switching over to unique things of the base. First thing we see, 4 air X-bows. This is like the complete opposite of the attack we just did, basically. So 4 air X-bows means basically you want to have a charge, or you want to have just a huge ground push, which means Yeti Smash. This is kind of the things you're looking out for. The next thing, like the unique thing about this base, I feel like, or like I thought about the first thing, is the right side, the 3 clock side. You can see there's a multi-inferno tower, there's a Royal Champ, and there's an air defense, which is huge value if you're sending in your king over there, for example. It's so freaking much value, guys. It's insane. So if you can take out 1 inferno tower, Royal Champ, and air defense, what is that like? What do you guys immediately think of? For me, since dragons is nice, but still we're facing 4 ground expos, it's for sure the Lalo, because obviously we could go for ground, like for Orc Riders or Hybrid as well. But if we're sending in the King, this means Hybrid is already way more risky, because we have only the siege barracks for funneling. Most of the time it can still work, but still is already kind of tougher to execute than before. The next thing is going to be Queen Charge Hawk Riders. Yes, that's possible, but we would need to charge both of the other heroes, like King and Queen. And in addition to that, if we're not getting that, this means we cannot use the Royal Chamber on the right side, because I think we have to use the King and the Royal Chamber together on the 3 o'clock side, because otherwise we won't make that. Like, there's just too much damage, especially with the Royal Champ. If there's a giant bomb and the Barbarians are dying kind of early on, the King won't get everything. So we need the Royal Champion and the King together on that side. We could maybe use the Ice Golem, but I would just like to save troop space. So this is why I'm going to Lalo. So what exactly are our options over here? Because, like I said, we do not want to use Sui Lalo, because it's only air expos, right? So we want to have something like a charge in before that, like just from the setup of the expos. So we have a couple of different options. Obviously, we could charge in on the right side, then use the King somewhere else. But the problem is the wall setup. Like the wall breakers won't target this wall, which means the wall breakers would walk around the last wall and would target the multi-inferno tower at 4 o'clock or like the other compartments. So we cannot use our queen charge on the right side. It would be kind of messy and not the best value. So we need to use the queen charge somewhere else. So we have obviously a couple of other options as well. And still remember the option of having the king and the royal champion on the 3 o'clock side. The next thing is the 6 o'clock side. We have two options over there, to be honest. So we have the options to go right or to go left. Both are kind of fine. So let's talk about both options and why exactly I'm choosing the option I will go with. So first off, we have the option on the right side. We can wall break easily into the multi-inferno tower because we have the super wall breakers, which means we do not even need a free spell. And sorry. And this means we have access to the enemy queen, enemy king, and enemy town hall, and both sweepers, which is a crazy tons of, like, it's an insane amount of value, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, the pathing in the inferno tower itself is kind of tricky. Like, if the king is luring our queen on the right side and then she's pathing from the right to the left, kinda, this means my healers will be most likely in the range of the town hall, which isn't a good thing because we would need to use at least one freeze. And if the clan castle is coming out in that moment, it would be completely messy. So it's possible, but not the best. Now let's talk about the left option. We have a bowler bounce, taking out the arch tower on the 9 o'clock side, and then wall breaking in, taking out the town hall, the enemy queen, and everything. And this looks pretty good. So let's take a look at what exactly are we taking out. This will be taken out by the queen charge. This will be taken out by the king and the royal champion, and then you guys can see the pathing in between of those two rings, or like those two parts. And the pathing is crazy because you have a really narrow path. Everything should work fine. We did not take any of the scatter shots, which is obviously not a good thing. But either way, the only risky thing with the charge on the left side is going to be the clan castle range, because you can see if something is luring the clan castle early on, we will be stuck in the single inferno tower, and this will be not nice, especially if this guy is once again running the 3 ice golems, which the other guys most likely did. So we have a couple of options. This is the first charge, and the pathing isn't too bad after that. This is the second one with like the narrow Lalo pathing, and I think it's better. But the good thing is both of the options are working. So if my queen is going to the left, that will be what is planned basically. But if she's going to the right, it's not really bad at all. So both are fine. I think the left is more risky in that sense as well, but at the same time it's a bit cooler as well, I feel like, as well, because we're creating this really cool pathing in the middle of the base between everything basically. So I think we should go for that. So this is the goal. We want to charge in from the bottom to the left. We will use one loon to funnel the mortar. That's it. That's it. We do not need anything else to funnel on the right side. And then we have to use on the left side, we have to take out the archer tower. We will use the mortar, and we use the boulder to bounce the gold mines. And that's it. We have a boulder with us. We have only one hound because we have this lammer for the back end. I'm almost bringing the blimp on my own, and then have the rest of the siege machines on my own cooked. So let's double check if everything is set up correctly. We have the slammer, we have the air warden. I'm doing this every single attack. Like always, whenever I'm starting an attack, I'm double checking everything because I'm really paranoid on that. It's like you don't want to fail an attack because you have not, like, if you have the wrong setup of the warden. So we're starting off at the bottom. The Tesla shouldn't bother us at all. We took out the archer tower, one more wizard over there. Now the wall breaker on the right side. It can die kind of early on, it doesn't matter. Now the queen is still fine. We were waiting until the troops, like the defense, are popping, and we can use the healers. Now the king on the right side, the queen should be fine for now. The bowler did its job with the bounce. Now the king and the royal champion on the right side. Everything over there should be alright. Now we can concentrate on the wall break on the left. A lot of stuff happening at the same time. It should be alright, as long as the clan castle is not getting lured. So wall break is getting started. We don't care about the giant bomb over there. Everything on the right side worked out, so we have still the royal champ ability, but nothing else. And now the clan, wait, is there even clan? I didn't check if there's the clan castle in there, but I think there should. Yeah, okay, it just came out super late. So clan castle is coming out as we guys expected, the 3 ice golem CC. because the other guy had that as well. Dropping a couple of cleanup archers because, well, we all know time is a little bit tricky. Next rage, and so far everything is looking super clean. The next thing which we have to use is the queen ability. This means like no more rages for our queen, just the queen ability, saving our queen and killing the enemy queen. And now even more loons coming in, the warden in behind, freezing early the multi-inferno tower because that's kind of annoying. The slammer on the right side, and the slammer is nicely tanking the wizard tower and everything. Warden ability kind of early on because I already recorded 2 more Lalo attacks today, and on both of them the warden didn't follow, so I'm super paranoid on that one. Warden as early as possible, and now we're just having more loons for the back end, using our haste spells. Scattershot is still alive. We're trying to use our haste spells as early as possible, and this should be pretty wrecked, right? Like, we have so many loons left, we have still a haste for the back end, and this is completely snatched, guys. Perfect planning, and I think this plan was pretty sick in my opinion. Was pretty nice. Wasn't the most fancy execution wise, but plan wise I think it was pretty nice. And yeah, it worked out perfectly. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video with me talking a little more about like how to approach a base, how to approach the planning, and what to think about. So yeah, let me guys know if you like those videos, if you would like to see more of those, and I will see you guys back tomorrow in another video. And guys, see you then, until then, and bye bye.